All right, so we've got two leg extension, leg curl combination machines sitting in this garage, and I'm definitely only keeping one. Today we have a rather dramatic showdown between Lionscool and Mikolo. Only one of the two will have the incredible luxury of remaining in this garage. Today I'm going to tell you which one I chose and why. Let's get to it. All right, I'll admit it's kind of strange for me to stand between two fairly comfortable seats. I mean, neither of them are like leather armchairs that you would find in a living room, but I still feel like I should sit in one of them. So, all right guys, so welcome to Strength and Steel Reviews. My name is Chris, I'm a certified personal trainer, and oddly enough, I am a home gym equipment reviewer. And today we are clearly reviewing, or at least comparing and reviewing, two different leg extension, leg curl machines. A really valuable combination that I've made great use of myself. Now the Mikolo Taweret and the Lionscool leg extension, leg curl are probably the two highest rated combination machines on the budget scene. The first machine that I reviewed was the Mikolo Taweret. I loved it, I thought it was fantastic. I definitely do think that it is far from perfect, but I still have it in the garage, and that says something. I am conducting this comparison because Lionscool encouraged me to. They wanted to send me their leg extension leg curl for free, which they did, and they asked if I'd be willing to compare it to my Mikolo Taweret because they saw the review and they clearly were confident that their product was better, or at least highly comparable to the Mikolo Taweret. But both of these machines were sent to me for free, without direction. I'm not being restrained, I'm not being directed in any way. These are my own thoughts. That said, I know a lot of other reviewers, a lot of other people have probably used both of these machines, so by the end of this video, comment below which one you think is better. Because I am going to give you an answer, I am going to actually choose one to keep in my gym. This isn't going to be one of those videos where I say they're both equally amazing and you really can't go wrong. No, I mean, they are both pretty cool in their own ways, just like all of us are, but I am only keeping one. All right, so I'm kind of just winging this review, so I just have some random notes on here to keep myself on track. I'm honestly in the middle of a workout and I just stopped working out and now I'm conducting a review, it would seem. And the first thing that we're going to discuss is the overall size of each piece. So, as to the size of each piece, the Lionscool machine is definitely smaller. I'm just gonna say that outright. It's a smaller machine. It's more compact. The weight horn is even shorter. And now on this version 4, the weight horn extends on either side. Comparatively, Mikolo's weight horn is on one side and it's way longer. I think overall, as far as balance is concerned, and as far as size, indeed, is concerned, that Lionscool is going to win out in this category. And a big part of that has to do with the size of the pads. I would say the Lionscool vinyl padding is a little fluffier. It is a little more comfortable. This is not the kind of thing that I generally care all that much about, but I know a lot of you guys do, so I'm gonna do my best here. Mikolo's vinyl is a little stickier, it's a little grippier. I think it's pretty comfortable too. Now, if I'm talking about the size of each pad, here's where Lionscool consolidates a lot of its size. It's a shorter back pad and it's a narrower seat pad. Mikolo definitely has a wider seat pad and it definitely has a taller back pad. Now, if you're asking me which I prefer, I will say hands down, I prefer the size of Mikolo's seat pad, especially when I'm trying to perform leg extensions. I like to be able to spread my legs a bit. Now the back pad doesn't really matter as much to me. Once it goes beyond my shoulders, I really stop thinking about it. But I guess when I'm really bracing myself for a leg extension, it is nice to have if I want to move into it. So yeah, overall, Lionscool is smaller, but there's a reason for that. And if you're a little worried about having more space on that seat pad, well, Mikolo may be more of a consideration here. Okay, let's see here. Build quality. All right, no problem. Both of them are pretty well made. There's no doubt about that. But only one of them has a laser engraved sundial, which would be the Mikolo Taweret, which I love. It makes it much easier to find your position, especially on a leg curl, which can be a little bit tricky when you're transitioning from one movement to another. Conversely, Lionscool has a much smaller dial system and there are no laser engravings, so you just kind of have to figure it out each time. Obviously, you can mark it down with some kind of silver Sharpie that's a go-to move that's easy to do. They both have aluminum pulleys. This cable seems pretty reliable. I don't know how to really differentiate the quality of cables with these kind of machines, but neither of them have broken on me, which is excellent. The pulleys for the Mikolo Taweret are red, so are the pot pins, which does match the strength and steel vibe a little bit better. Overall, they both feel like really solid machines, but the Mikolo Taweret has a better adjustment system. It just does. Now, when you're adjusting the sundial on either the Mikolo Taweret or the Lionscool V4, it is just a pot pin system. It's really simple, it's really easy to use. That's the same. But when it comes to modifying the leg roller, that is not the same. The Lionscool V4 has something a little different. There's essentially this pin. There's a hitch pin right here that you have to undo, and you can remove this stopper, and you either place it before or after this bar. Now, if you place it before, you're going to have a lot less stretch on the leg extension. If you place it after, then you're going to have a lot more stretch on your leg extension. Essentially, depending on which of the two you set your stopper for, will open up a wider range of flexibility on your leg roller, which is definitely a plus. And overall, I'll say there is a greater range of motion on the Lionscool V4 than there is on the Mikolo Taweret. And that is a big plus for me. I did not expect that, because if not for that, this would have been really cut and dry, really simple. But perhaps that's why Lionscool is confident enough to actually send this to me for a review. Because listen, man, I'm sure I'm showering you with B-roll right now, but the stretch on the Lionscool leg extension is fantastic, and you just can't get that much stretch when you're on the Taweret. And a lot of it has to do with the way that they engineered it. Keeping everything I said in mind about not being an engineer, here's what I notice. The Mikolo Taweret has a steeper angle, and this bar beneath seems to be coming a bit more forward. Because of that, their roller would generally have more room to move, but it hits this bar beneath. Unfortunately, it limits your range of movement. Now, this is a big deal for me because I think the leg extension is one of the premier lower body builders. It works really well for my physiology, and the greater the stretch, generally, at least for me and for many of us, so the research seems to be complicated, it would seem to be that the more weight you can move in a lengthened or a stretched position, the more muscle you are ultimately going to develop. Something that matters greatly for home gym owners, and more importantly, me. Now, what I will say that the Taweret has that the Lionscool does not is the position of these handles. I like that they're forward facing. Lionscools are rear facing. I'm able to get a much better grip on the Taweret, something that matters to me much when I'm bracing to perform the movement. So it's complicated, you know, because one's got a better stretch, one feels a little more comfortable in use. And then the plot thickens even further when you consider the stability of the actual movement. I bet at the beginning of this video you thought I was certainly moving towards Taweret, and now you're not so sure. Now, Lionscool undoubtedly is more stable during use. This is something that has been well documented in the Mikolo Taweret, and for all who have complained, I yield before you. You are correct. Because of the pot pin that Mikolo used, whatever other design choices they made to orchestrate the transition from a leg extension to a leg curl, there's a little bit of wiggle when you're sitting in the chair and you're performing the movement. This is what I'm talking about, all right? That's going to occur in either the leg curl or the leg extension, and that's a no bueno, especially when you're actually doing a leg extension or a leg curl. You want to feel stable, you want everything to be rigid and reliable. Here, to my boundless surprise, we actually have stability. The way Lionscool has engineered this, there is no wonky, rickety movement in the seat pad. Everything moves, practically glides. And I've been pretty open about this before, how significant this idea is, but I don't want anything to distract me from performing whatever exercise, whatever movement that I'm doing. Any machine that allows for distraction generally receives some kind of demerit. I've lived with the Mikolo Taweret. I've accepted that as a compromise. With budget pieces, we often have to make compromises, so I get that. But the fact that the Lionscool V4 doesn't do that and also has this incredible stretch on the leg extension is truly something special. I do think that the seat pad, again, even as I'm sitting here, it just seems a little too narrow for me. I like it wider. The adjustments aren't perfect. I wish the seat could go back further. Neither the Taweret nor the V4, in my opinion, go far enough, usually to really emphasize your quads, especially the rectus femoris during this movement. You want to be seated as far back as you can. Greater stretch in the quads, greater position, greater leverage to utilize your quads during this movement, but neither of them allow for that. Before I speak of the leg curl functionality, I should briefly discuss the transition time. Now, if you're like me, you value transition time because you like ease of setup. Both of them are equally easy to transition from one movement into the other. It's essentially a really simple pop pin system. You just push or pull the back pad down or forward, depending on which movement you want to transition to. They're both really easy. Now, I will say in regards to the leg curl, they're pretty similar, a little different. I find that the Lionscool prone leg curl is a little bit flatter overall than the Mikolo Taweret's. I'm not sure I prefer it. I just acknowledge it as something that's definitely different. It has a different feel. For both of them, I get a pretty good stretch on my hamstrings. There's enough adjustability with both machines that shouldn't be much of an issue. All right, so you officially have all of my thoughts and my impressions of the Lionscool V4 and the Mikolo Taweret. Which one am I going with? I'm gonna be totally transparent here. I'm going with the Mikolo Taweret. You thought because I was looking at the Lionscool that I was gonna go with the Lionscool, didn't you? Gotcha. No, I'm going with the Mikolo Taweret. Honestly, the seat pad is a big deal for me. I think it's really important for a leg extension, at least for me. And I like having the bigger back pad. I like the position of the handles better. The Lionscool really did impress me. When it initially arrived here, I didn't think it stood a chance. But after spending some time with it, especially with that leg extension functionality, I have reformed my opinions, as I am apt to do. That's kind of my thing. Now, in regards to which of these two would be best for you, I'll say ultimately you can't go that wrong. They're about the same price last I checked, around 400 bucks. If they are not, I will check again. You can look at the links in the description. I think the Mikolo Taweret currently is being remodeled, but whatever version they're remodeling, I don't think it is going to be that different. I think they're including a different logo, stuff like that. But if it is a total revamp, then I will be excited to see that and try it myself. Likely it will be pretty similar in style, but what do I know? But overall, if you value the leg extension primarily and you're okay with a narrower seat pad and you want that maximum stretch, I would go with the Lionscool. If you're like me and you really value the ease of adjustment, something that I am always yapping about, I like the ease of the sundial, the pop pins. I wish it was a slightly better stretch on the quadriceps during the leg extension, but overall, I love this wider seat pad and I love the size and feel of the Mikolo overall. I just personally find it to be a better machine for me. Now, if you're a diehard for the Lionscool, I get it. I think it's a great machine. I'm just choosing to keep the Taweret because I have my own preferences and I prefer the Taweret. Obviously, if any of this angers you, feel free to vent in the comments and subscribe for more home gym equipment reviews. And you stay strong and you stay steely, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.